Hey garden friends, today we have something really special and useful for us maturing, aging gardeners. As we get older, some things get a little bit harder, and this should help and go a long way in helping. Also, it's great for people with small areas to garden in. Maybe they only have a deck, a porch, a patio. This would work there too. So let's get rolling. Yeah, Vego Garden Beds contacted me and wanted to know if I wanted to do a review on their elevated garden beds. It comes in several sizes, 4 foot. I think it comes in a 6 foot, and then it comes in the 8 foot. I opted for the 8 foot. I was going to do it up here on my deck. I thought this would be a great trial to do up here. And then we moved the Bespoke Greenhouse. We took it down. And I thought, it would be really great to have the elevated garden bed down in my veggie garden. I might be rethinking that. I may have to go ahead and buy one of the 4 foot ones to have up here on the deck, but we'll see. I was trying to declutter the deck this year, and that's kind of why I moved it down there, and I'm going to put in a drip irrigation system eventually into the elevated garden bed. So let's get rolling. We're going to do the unpacking, kind of, and the installation. I enlisted the help of my husband because he can get things done twice as fast as I can, and I was in a hurry. So that is what's going to happen there. So let's get rolling on that. Getting it moved to the back area was a task unto itself. This box was heavy, but a little dolly goes far in helping to getting it moved. So yeah. And getting through Rose Alley was a trick because there's a lot of plants that are kind of leaning into the pathway, and he was afraid of breaking something, but I told him it was okay. This was important. So I have a video coming up on Rose Alley and how beautiful it's doing, so look for that in the near future. So here it is in place back here. Like I said, this is where the Bespoke Greenhouse was, and now look, there's pieces all laid out. Like I said previously, my husband can do these things 10 times faster than I can, and I wanted it done, so he's here putting it together, following along the instructions. Now I will note for you that in the instructions it said it should take 2 people about half an hour. That may be true for the 4-footer, but I will have to admit this 8-foot one, it took 2 full hours, and I would say anybody who's never put one together before, it would take you that long. Now if you've done it before, you would know some of the intricacies that he came up against. He had put some things in backwards, had to turn it around, because the instructions, though fairly clear, there was a few things that you had to figure out by doing. So that in itself is one reason it took a little bit longer. Plus it's a bigger bed, and being the 8-foot rather than the 4-foot, there was some middle pieces that needed a little bit of more work than if you only had a 4-footer. So just keep that in mind if you go with the larger bed. That's me measuring to see where I wanted it, the measuring tape there. Assembling this, or finishing assembling this, let's go through some attributes of this elevated garden bed from Vego Gardens. And first of all, the materials it's made from is food safe. It's USDA certified with a premium coating. The trapezoidal bottom, which you'll see later on when I show the bed assembled, it promotes better aeration and drainage. It keeps the soil healthy and prevents waterlogging. So this does have wheels. but down here in the soil, we're not going to use the wheels. But if you have it on a patio, porch, deck, anything like that, the wheels make it easy to move around. And if you're needing to adjust the sunlight that it gets, that helps to be when you can move it like that. There is a lower shelf area that you can store materials or even more potted plants if you so desire, that maybe they need shade. I am thinking of underneath mine putting like some lettuce and other things to see how they'll do down there. Now this is built to last for 20 plus years. So being that it's only 12 inches deep, so you reduce material costs by the soil, amount of soil. Now this would probably take 12 cubic feet of soil to fill, but I am going to use, you can see behind it where it's at right now, that there is another raised garden bed that I have absolutely loved that's super deep, but I'm going to use the soil from that because we have to move that raised garden bed for building up my new greenhouse. So that is another plus, is this saves or reduces the amount of soil you need. Now here you see him putting the shelving on the lower area here. So in the like next year I would refresh how much soil is in it, or refresh the soil by replacing some of it. Usually you can replace a third and have it work just fine. Here he's putting the safety edging on. It went pretty quick there, and I'm here putting in or tightening the last of the bolts in. You can see the trapezoidal bottom there. That helps with drainage and keeping things well. Here I am filling it up from the other raised garden bed, and it goes much faster than I anticipated, being that they're so close together. And I have a couple of buckets, so that went really, really fast. And this was great soil. This, I had filled it with my chicken debris from the chicken pen. The bottom third had some logs in it that were rotting away. They worked perfect for what I wanted them to do. And yep, just filling it up, and we'll be ready to plant in just a moment. Well, here, my friends, it took me less time than I anticipated to fill this up, but here is the soil from that raised bed. I will add some slow release fertilizer, an organic slow release fertilizer to this, and then I'm going to plant it up with my dwarf vegetables. I have ones that are made for containers. So I did the slow release. Now the slow release will not really feed your plants for several weeks. It's got to start broken down. And so I will go ahead and use also my organic liquid that feeds the plants immediately. That's another thing I'm going to do. But today, I wanted to get this planted. Now, I'm going to put in 3 or 4 seeds, and then I'm going to take out what I need to thin out. These are older seeds, so I want to make sure I get some germination. And so that's why I'm going to plant extra. And since they are older seeds, I want to use them up anyway. So thinning out, I usually hate thinning out. It seems like such a waste, but in this case, it is what it is. So just going to smooth this out a little bit. Open the packet. Now this is the Astia zucchini, and I'm going to place a couple of seeds here, and then a couple of seeds here. Now I'm putting it close to the edge because if it wants to drape over, it can, and that way it doesn't go too far this way into the bed. And I'm going to put in these super bush tomatoes. container tomatoes, super bush, and they're supposed to be a slicing tomato. Now I did start these from seed, and I have them over here. You see this? With all of this, I will confess I am winging it as far as spacing. I won't know till I try how much I can cram in here. You've heard of square foot gardening, so we'll see if I could do something similar in this small container. Now, it doesn't matter. There's a good depth to this for all of these plants. As long as you keep them well fed, everything should work just fine. So I'm going to do some basil. Now this is the cameo basil, and I will read how that one's going to work. Okay, this is large leaf container basil, Italian cameo, and this gets 1 foot tall. So you know what? I'm thinking, I'm always thinking, right? Let's go ahead and put some in here. Try not to traumatize them too much. These smaller ones might take off. Oh, our generator ran off. My neighbors are still on, but thank goodness, that means we have our power back. So I'm just going to plant these in here, small and large ones. And yeah, plenty in here. Now this would be a great basil to put as a border plant that is beautiful, but also is productive. So if you had, like, you wanted to line a garden bed or something, it would really work well. So yeah, I love basil, homegrown, and then the pesto I make is to die for. And I use a very different cheese. I have a recipe on my website, and I have a video on when I started a bunch of basil seeds. I think it was these, as well as some that is taller. So, okay, that's 5 basil plants. So I am going to redo these tomatoes, just because I know they will probably do better on the far end. It doesn't hurt to move them right now. And I might just do both of them one in front of the other instead of side by side, because then they'll have a little bit more space between them. And I can harvest from this side and from the front here. So these shouldn't need much support, but I have my little cages, or I could do something, I know, that would support them if I need to. Even a bamboo cane that I have. Okay, so I have 5 basils in there. Now I don't have tomatoes over there now, so I can figure out something I want to do. I am going to go ahead and plant some of these sugar snap peas. These are called hanging basket snap peas, Snack Hero. So I'm going to do those along the front here. You know what, I have some bush beans I could put in here. Now these would germinate faster if I had soaked them, but I'm not going to soak them. So now I still got room back there now for something. So that may very well be the bush beans. I need to find those. Those would probably work really well there. And I don't think these are a dwarf. I just think they're, bush. So they probably would get 2.5, maybe 3 feet tall. That's my PG&E saying the power was restored. I wish my neighbor would turn off their generator. Now I have some chives in here that I could plant. I had thought of maybe putting radishes in here as well, which that would work great. And yeah, I could actually put them over here by the basil, because they would probably be coming pickable before those get very big. And the same with by the tomatoes. So let's see, what did I get planted? I got the Super Bush Determinate tomato. I got this sugar snap peas. I got this Astia zucchini, which I don't know if it's going to grow because these are 2021 seeds, but I tried to put in plenty. Oh, here is some kale, which I was showing you yesterday that underneath here I could probably plant some stuff. And then there's some lettuce, which I could put the lettuce in here at the base, and the shade from the other plant would probably be very, very helpful, and it'll grow up under it. This one I got from Dollar Tree, this Grand Rapids. I have it over there in that raised bed. Been picking lettuce from it, and it's very tasty. And we also love black-seeded Simpsons, so I'll go get those seeds in a minute, but I only have a few of these left. So I'm going to go ahead and sow them in here. What's left? Around this spot here. I'm trying not to overcrowd the tomatoes, but we'll see. I'm just going to sprinkle it on here. Sprinkle it around. Oh, got a pill bug. Don't want those. Don't let anybody tell you that pill bugs don't eat live plants. Somebody will say, oh no, they only eat debris, dead plant material. Not true. I've had them decimate entire patches of seedlings overnight. So, okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to press this in. I'm pressing in the lettuce leaf seeds here. And then I'm going to, affirming everything in. I'm going to get some soil from over here. From where the other raised bed is. We already picked it up. My husband's going to take it apart and we're going to store it. I'm going to water that all in well. So that's all good too. So that, my friends, is planting up the Vego Elevated Garden Bed. I love that the height, I do not have to bend down, which if you hear me getting up and down on my videos, you can hear my knees crackling. So I think this is going to be perfect, especially for these dwarf-sized vegetables and herbs. And I don't know if I want to put, maybe I will put chives in here. I can put them down here. So if the sugar snap peas come up, we'll just have chives in there with it. Why not? Can't hurt, right? Okay, so that's that. And here it is, all planted and ready to produce. I have to say, I really am thrilled with this. So thank you, Vego Gardens. Well, that's it, my friends. We have assembled, we have filled, and I have planted up the garden bed, the elevated Vego garden bed, and I love it. I already love it. I'm not having to bend down, get up and down with my knees crackling. I think I'm really going to enjoy this, and I may invest in another one for the back deck after all. So I'll probably get a 4-footer for back here. And I do have the wheels for this one, but when we decided to put it down in the soil, then I didn't use them. So if I get the 4-footer, I will use them on that. And so I will see you in my next video, and I will be sure and update you through the summer on how well this works for me. So I'll see you in my next video. Bye.